Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and we've had some crazy leaks, right? So let's get it started right off with the All City 14. The All City 14 looks freaking phenomenal. You know what I mean? The original All City 13 looks kind of you know what I mean? It looks kind of weird. The All City 13 Encore looks really clean. I love the design of that shoe, but the All City 14 looks really freaking nice. And as you guys all know, actually I miss the Nike Hyperdunks. I mean, obviously in place of that we got the GT line, the greater than line, but I don't know, the Hyperdunks were so iconic. Maybe it's because obviously the nostalgia and stuff like that, and also the players that were wearing it. But yeah, sorry, the All City line is kind of like, you know, what the Hyperdunk line was to Nike as to what the All City line is to Way of Wade, right? So it's more like an all around, you know, line where it's supposed to be really good for pretty much everything. You know what I mean? Like for guards, for bigger dudes, and they're using really good tech in the shoe as well. You know what I mean? This all blue colorway looks really, really nice. But yeah, the actual traction we can see in this colorway, it does look thick as far as the grooves go, so it does look like it'll be very good for the durability. But I'm not 100% sure what they're going to be using for the rubber compound, or not the rubber compound, the outsole compound, right? So are they going to be using tough rubber? Are they going to be using GCU? You know what I mean? I can't really tell from this actual picture, but in this colorway, it does look slightly translucent, right? And also, there is like a circle in the forefoot, so maybe they're using like a plate. I'm not 100% sure, but the All City line has always had really solid and consistent traction, so I'm not really too worried about the actual traction, right? But in terms of the cushion, I'm also pretty curious as to what they're gonna be using for the actual like heel part, I guess, because on the medial side you can see that they are exposing the actual boom foam, so they're probably using boom. If they're using super boom, now I'd be a little bit happier though. Super boom, I mean, I feel like they're starting to use super boom a little bit more, you know, obviously in the Wild 12, but they also use it in the 808 Ultra V2 and also the regular 808 Ultra, and those are like 160 bucks. And the All City line, it's been around 150, 160 bucks, right? So if they give us Super Boom for the All City 14, I'd be very, very happy, because Super Boom is a little bit softer and a little bit bouncier as well than compared to regular Boom. So yeah, you can see it exposed on the medial side a little bit, and also on the lateral side, is it just a tiny sliver of it is exposed in the midfoot area, right? But in the heel is where you can see a different type of foam. They're probably gonna be using like light foam ultra, right? And it's fully exposed, which I do like. So it's probably gonna have a nice bit of heel compression. So yeah, I have no doubts that the cushioning setup is gonna be nice, but hopefully they are using like a soft mesh struggle board, but it's not super important, you know, as long as they give us like a softer, like not super glued down struggle board, then I'll be happy, right? In terms of the actual upper, the upper looks like a synthetic material. You know what I mean? So I guess they are going a little bit away from meshes, you know what I mean? And also really thin textile materials, because I do like how thin they are. You don't have to break it in at all, but the durability is not good. You know what I mean? A lot of people have been complaining about durability on like, you know, very thin textile or mesh materials. So I guess maybe Way of Wade is moving away from that a little bit. And yeah, you know, like a long time ago, it was like knits. You know, and then they started moving away from that. Now it's just like meshes, you know, and then now they're going into like synthetic materials, you know what I mean? And it's maybe we're gonna go full circle, you know, in the next 5 years, maybe we'll circle back to like knit materials. I don't know. But yeah, it does look a little bit thicker than normal, and it will probably have a little bit more of a supportive feel. I'm sure it'll still feel soft, but we'll have to see on that. And we do have this kind of, what? That's kind of weird, you know? So we have this kind of like crazy piece. It's like a light blue color, and it kind of like extends all the way, like almost all the way into the heel, but then it's like stitched to the upper. So that's kind of funny. So maybe that's there for a little bit more support. I don't know, but that's a pretty interesting thing that they did in terms of like, you can see the actual, it's just a line of stitching, right? And also obviously for the lateral support, we have that black plastic piece as well. But yeah, again, I do really like how it looks. So I'm very, very excited for that shoe to come out, right? And also, this is just AI, but then this could be what the Kai 3 looks like, maybe? I don't know. Obviously, again, it is AI, so this is totally fake, but I really like the heel part. Like at the back of the heel, they're using the Kyrie shield logo. That looks super clean, you know what I mean? On the sides also, like I love how, you know, the Anta logo just looks good, you know? So it's just, the way they incorporate it to the actual design of the shoe looks really nice. So yeah, this all white color. But also there's another shoe that shout out to Autiste 0630. But yeah, this is also AI, so it's not real. But then this shoe looks also really nice. You know what I mean? Like there is a material that kind of like different types of materials that go all the way like loops into the upper a little bit. You know what I mean? But also you can see the exposed midsole in the heel, which I do like. You can see the Anta logo. Like I love how you can incorporate the Anta logo into the shoe, just making it blend in. So it looks like seamless, but then also it's functional as well. It almost acts like a lateral counter, you know what I mean? So in terms of like practicality, I feel like the white colorway looks a little bit better, you know what I mean? The black colorway looks a little bit like stiff, you know what I mean? But I do like how they're using like older, like old school materials, but that also looks really nice too. And also the Harden Volume 10, like James Harden has been wearing this, but like, dude, I mean, okay. So for the Currys, we've literally been seeing the exact same shoe for the past like 8 years or 7 years. And also all the freaking Flowtros, you know what I mean? Like in terms of the outsole and midsole, feeling extremely similar, besides in like the Curry Series 7 and the Future X Elite 2, right? Where this year they're kind of maybe stepping up their game, even though I've been saying to step up their game for like the past like 5 years. But anyways, so I guess the Hardens are a little bit different than that. You know, I like how they're giving us a different design in the shoe, but the overall shoe is so freaking similar, right? They're probably using like I do have the actual kind of like a tech specs, you know what I mean, from the catalogs, right? So the Harden Volume 10, look. So in the 10th iteration of the James Harden signature franchise, we evolved the model with a bold and polarizing design evolution that captures the spirit of James on and off the court, and so what blah blah blah, right? It says light boost and light strike. So Harden Volume 7, 8, 9. Light boost and light strike. I mean, the Harden Volume 7 was using boost, but anyways, pretty much the same thing. You know, light boost is a little bit softer and a little bit lighter, but you know, very similar, you know? They're all using the inner booty, so it also says full length internal knit booty. So yeah, and you have that kind of external shell, which I guess James Harden just really likes that. You know what I mean? But like, dude, the Harden Volume 1, you guys remember the 1 when it came out? Dude, the 1 was so nice. And then the 2 was still nice. And then the 3 was freaking fun. But just like all the shoes were so different. You know what I mean? But since the 7, you know, 7, 8, 9, now the 10, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, you got the external shell, you got the inner knit booty, you got light boost and light strike. You know what I mean? So it's just like, dude, I want to see something a little bit different, you know? So, yeah, that's just me now, you know, compared to, or I guess like nitpicking James Harden's line. We got, you know, a picture of the outsole and stuff like that. So yeah, a little bit disappointed in that, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is supposed to be, it says retail intro is June 1st of next year. So yeah, and it's gonna retail for 160 bucks, right? Also, we got the DON Issue 8. We don't have any tech specs or anything like that, but we know the price and the retail intro, which is the same. You know, retail intro is June 1st of next year, and it's gonna retail for 120 bucks, you know what I mean? And also, apparently, Joel Embiid is gonna have his first signature shoe with Skechers. If you guys remember, he used to be signed with Under Armour, and he had the Embiid 1. You guys remember that? You guys remember that? No, but now he's signed with Skechers, and I mean, honestly though, I feel like it looks pretty good if it wasn't for the logo. The Skechers logo, they need to do something better. It looks terrible, right? But I feel like the upper looks kind of cool. Like the overall like design, it's like kind of chaotic, but then like that like line design that they have on the upper looks really nice, you know what I mean? So very curious as to how this shoe's gonna feel. You know what I mean? We got this Volt colorway, we got this white, and now that I'm seeing the outsole is literally the same in design to the upper, which I think is really cool. You know what I mean? What does that say? Oh, it's Goodyear. So they're saying they're probably using Goodyear rubber, you know? Also, this kind of like Galaxy colorway, you know? It looks really nice. So, yeah, it's supposed to launch early December, which is early December. So I wonder when it's going to release, right? So there's that. Next, we got the book too. So, yeah. Devin Booker has been wearing different colorways of the book too, and dude, this all black one looks really nice as well. So I'm pretty excited to try these on. You know, they're supposed to come out next year, of course. But yeah, it looks really nice. I definitely feel like it doesn't look as good as the book one, but it still looks pretty dang clean. You know what I mean? So yeah, just want to update you guys on that. And also, Jaylen Brown, if you guys didn't know, he has his own company. And yeah, apparently he's trying to make a 3D printed shoe. He says, what we're exploring with 3D printing isn't about presenting a final product. It's about understanding what becomes possible when design can adapt directly to the athlete. So yeah, he was seen carrying the shoe that's apparently 3D printed. I don't know how, it doesn't look 3D printed to me at all, but I guess it is, you know. But it does look really low to the ground. Maybe even it's using like a drop-in midsole. I don't know. But yeah, it looks really nice though. This triple white colorway, the overall design looks really nice. His first shoe that came out, wasn't a huge fan of though. Like that was pretty disappointing in terms of like performance, and it was like, how much was it? Like 200, 250 bucks? Ridiculously expensive, you know, especially for the performance, but this one looks kind of nice, you know what I mean? So I'm very excited as to what he cooks up, you know, in like in the future. But of course, last but not least, we got the Luka 5. So I'm not 100% sure if this is real or not, because no one else was posting this. The only person that posted this was Kickzone News, and Kickzone News also posted like the Kai 3, and they didn't say it was AI, but obviously it was AI. But maybe, I don't know, they're not saying this is AI though, you know, in the comments and stuff like that. But yeah, the Luka 5s, if this is real, it looks pretty nice. But in terms of the design, it looks very similar to the Luka 2s. Right? For the outsole, we can see a herringbone traction pattern. Also in the forefoot in the outsole, we can see a window to something. So maybe they're using, I don't know, that's kind of weird because it's really low in the forefoot. You know what I mean? Usually if they're using a zoom unit, it would be in the middle of the forefoot, you know, where they put like the actual like forefoot zoom unit. Like the Luka 4s had a crazy, like terrible orientation for the zoom unit, and it was bottom loaded, but then I don't know. I wonder what kind of zoom unit they're using, because again, like that's way too low. So maybe they're using a zoom turbo unit. That would be super nice. Probably not though. Maybe a zoom unit that's large, you know, like the Tatum 4 that encompasses pretty much the entire forefoot. I don't know, but that would be nice. You know what I mean? In the heel, you don't really see anything. And also you can see a line. It's a translucent rubber going around the entire outsole as well. Herringbone, of course, you can't really go wrong with, right? And then for the actual like midsole, you can see that it is pretty, yeah, it's very exposed in the heel, right? Also in the forefoot, but then we do have that plastic piece that starts off in the forefoot a little bit and then goes into the heel, but like goes up into the back of the heel, right? But yeah, it looks pretty cool. I do like how it looks like it looks a little bit like an eye, you know, like an eagle eye or something, you know, and there's a mesh material in the middle of that. There's a Jumpman logo at the start of that plastic piece as well, but it looks like it goes all the way around into the medial side of the shoe. Like it's like almost symmetrical, which is pretty interesting for the design. And then on top of that, we have another kind of like thick synthetic material, it looks like. So that it looks like it'll be very good and very rigid for the lateral counter, you know, for lateral support. So that looks nice. And then in the toe box, it just looks like a regular mesh material, right? So yeah, almost like a ballistic nylon, almost, but it's just like a regular mesh material. It looks like. Not 100% sure if it's gonna be like glued down or anything, so you can't really tell. But it does look a little bit more robust, you know, especially compared to like the Luka 4s, guys. It's just really, really thin, right? The tongue looks like it has zero padding though, which is a little bit disappointing. We can see Luka's logo there. So yeah, in terms of design, I do like how it looks. It looks pretty clean. But it definitely does look a lot stiffer and more supportive than like the Luka 4s. And again, like the overall design reminds me a lot of like the Luka 2s, you know? So yeah, that about wraps up this video. Tell us what shoe you're excited about down in the comment section below. This year's almost over. I mean, it went by extremely quickly, right? But yeah, that about wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.